In this week's Boss Lady, she is an award-winning journalist, an author, and an overall inspiration, big time. And she was recently featured as a speaker at a TEDx talk.
Please welcome AMYSWEEZY to Daily
Woo!
Flash. Hi, Mark. So
Hey
glad to have you
guys.
on.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
As,
What an honor.
as AJ just mentioned, you were recently chosen from literally hundreds of applicants to actually share your story about reinvention at any age, which we're going to get to in a second, at TEDx Eustis. First off, let's talk about the experience. What was it like for you?
You know what? It was so cool. This was kind of a bucket list thing, right? You
Yeah.
see those TED Talks and then the TEDx Talks, which are more localized community events all over the country. And I'd seen many of them over the years, and I always thought that would be kind of cool. And so I decided to apply since we have one right here in Eustis in Central Florida. It was quite a long process. You fill out an application. There were about 150 of us that applied for 2024, and I was one of the 15 that were chosen out of those 150. You don't put your name on it, so there's no playing favorites or anything. You just put down what's your one big idea and why you should be the one to share that, and then a whole committee determines who's going to be a part of the program.
I love that.
Well, it was a terrific response, and of
No
course,
kidding.
Mitch was there.
I loved it. I was very inspired by you, too.
Mitch was there, and you also
for
had some
being
former
there.
coworkers there too. What was it like to be surrounded by so much support?
Oh, you know what? It was amazing. It's really the thing that I didn't realize is with a TEDx event, it's really not for the live audience. The live audience is there to support.
Yeah.
They're there to, kind of be a part of the event, but we're really performing for the cameras. So once I found that out, since my experience is actually in television, I felt much more comfortable knowing that if I messed up, I could stop and pause and start again, and they would just edit it later. So that part, I think, is something that a lot of people don't know, that you're really performing for the cameras and
Yeah.
you're not performing for the actual live audience.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, what terrific insight. Amy, you and I worked together here at the NBC affiliate in Orlando. You were a meteorologist for broadcast TV for 25 years. You could have easily stayed in it. Why did you decide it was time for a change?
That was the whole topic of my TEDx talk, reinvention at any age. I loved my job. I loved what I did, but you know what? I was waking up at 2 a.m. every day, and my kids were getting older, and I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore. I was missing out on a lot of life. And I kept telling myself, but this is the only thing I know how to do. I've never done anything else. What do I do? I can't do anything besides the weather on TV. And then when I took a step back and realized, wait a second, a lot of the skills that I have learned from doing the weather on television, those skills translate to other types of jobs and other things that I can do. So it took me a while to figure that out, but once I did, I hope I can inspire other people who are looking for a change to know that, look, you can reinvent yourself. Sometimes you choose to reinvent yourself, and sometimes you have to reinvent yourself, but there's no age limit and there's no expiration date.
I was talking to some folks about your story, about the TEDx and such, and it was very inspiring and really moving into a new direction. And I was giving examples like Warren Buffett really didn't make a lot of his money until later in his life and that sort of thing, and how people think, and I think we're at a time in our life now, in this age, it's easier now to change what Amy was talking about because we have so many more resources now. And speaking of resources, you started your own company out of all this called Social Weather LLC. Tell everybody about this. This is neat.
That's my umbrella company, and I do several different things. Of course, you guys mentioned already that I am an author. So several years ago, I did write some children's books about weather. I'm working on a new book now about myself that is ready to be edited. I think it's done, but we'll see what the editor says once she gets her hands on it. And I am working still on camera. I work for a company called Growing Bolder, doing some on-camera work and some writing. I'm a weather contributor for Carnival Cruise Line. I do some freelance work for TV stations around the country, including a station in Orlando. And I also am trying to kickstart my keynote speaking business. For many years, I did speak as a meteorologist, but mostly talked about hurricane season and climate change and things like that. And so now I'm branching out into other topics, things like how to reinvent yourself at any age.
Okay, Amy, I got to ask you this. I know you still talk about the weather, but how nice is it for you when we have a big storm coming to Orlando that you are not working 24/7, 7 days a week?
Yes, it is so nice. The first time I was home with my family during a hurricane, it was a very strange feeling. Like I could help get the extension cords for the generator and I could help gather up the candles and flashlights instead of being at work, 2 weeks before the storm even got here.
If you want to find out more about Amy, we got more details. Of course, you could, of course, check out our website. She's on socials as well, AMYSWEEZEY, AMYSWEEZEY.com. And we really had you on because we miss seeing you in the morning. Every morning.
is true.
So that's why we had you on the show.
We get our Amy
Thank
Sweezey
you.
fix today.
We got our AMYSWEEZEY fix. And, all right, when that book's done, you're coming on the show, right?
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely. Yes. And of course, when the TEDx talk is available, I will be posting it on all my social media so you
Okay.
can find it there.
Amy, thank you so much.
She's a boss lady.
Or after this.